Hello and welcome. I'm your host, Enrique DeCastro, and you are tuning in to the What's in Your Case podcast. My guest is the lead singer of Your Local Cemetery and half of the duo Freudian Couch, an audio engineer, musician, and my friend Jade.
R.I.P. to both bands.
Is Your Local Cemetery your first band?
Yeah, it was.
And how would you describe Your Local Cemetery sound?
I've realized the more I've gotten into music that talking about the genres of music makes my brain implode. But what we kind of settled on was like DIY East Coast bands, specifically from like Philly. So like Modern Baseball was a huge influence, as well as some other stuff out there. We were like East Coast DIY meets like indie pop or like indie dream pop. I don't know. It was weird. We just tried to have fun with our sound. Yeah, it was a good time.
And I know your first set was for a birthday party in 2016. So you've been a group for about 7 years.
Yeah.
What was the defining moment you and your bandmates decided, let's create a band together?
We definitely did not intend to be a band when we first started out, because all three of us, we were at different points in our music journey. Eric, who was our like keyboard player, he had been doing music since fifth grade. Band was first a thing. He like played saxophone and then did piano. And then me, I like dabbled with music in the beginning of like fifth grade, also did saxophone. Then I put that away for a long time. We all, at the end of high school, had other musical experiences where we tried to be a band, and then that was not a fun time. And then so we were all just like, let's just get together and play music. And so we started playing covers of songs and stuff. And we weren't good, but we were like, this is like fun. This is a good time. Then we started writing original songs. And then I think it was after we started writing some originals that we were like, maybe we can turn this into a thing. And so we came up with the name Your Local Cemetery. And then our friend wanted us to play that birthday show. Sometime before that show was when we were like, yeah, we could be a band, but it was mostly just a joke too.
June 2017, after a semester of audio engineering, you decided to become the group's audio engineer and producer.
Uh-huh.
Do you find yourself having more fun in the studio or performing in front of people?
Oh, more fun? Definitely in the studio. Just because there's no pressure, and it's just that the realm where you're just hanging out with your friends, and there's like a serious aspect of how we want to like get good takes and record stuff, but the most fun part is just the dynamic of the band existing as the band and doing the stupid stuff that we would do when we were recording. We would do a lot of audio bits because we got to a point where we got decent equipment, and then I would be like tracking vocals and Adrian would get so close to the mic and start just whispering stuff into my ear. As far as what's more fun, definitely the studio, just because that's being 100% yourself and hanging out with your friends. Performing is also great in its own way, but yeah, studio time is awesome.
And in that studio, there was an EP made called And It's Been Downhill Ever Since.
Oh, yeah.
I couldn't find that.
Yeah, that's because I made it private.
So there's nowhere we can listen to that? Or did you remaster it into any of your other albums?
No, we haven't remastered it or re-recorded any of those songs. I mean, I could definitely show it to you personally if you want to check it out at some point. Yeah, that was a weird one. I recorded that. It was the spring break of sophomore or junior year of college that we did that. We recorded the whole thing in 1 week and then mixed it and then put it out. And it was fun. What was the question? Sorry, I'm bad at this.
The question was if there was somewhere to listen to it or if it was remastered in somewhere else.
Oh, no, there's not. But like, if people like want to hear it, I'll let you listen to it. I just made it private because I got embarrassed one night probably. And then I was like, I need to hide it. And then so I made it private, but it's still on Bandcamp. Some of those songs are bangers and I would absolutely re-record them, but there's nowhere you can hear it right now.
In 2019, the band decided to move forward with you as the lead vocalist of the band.
Mm-hmm.
What were some of the factors that led to that decision?
Oh, because it was a pain in the ass doing our sets and switching instruments mid-set, especially when it was hard enough to get people to take us seriously when we didn't have a drummer. We show up, it's just three dudes who, it's like, hey, we got a piano, we got a bass guitar, and an electric guitar, let's fucking go. And then there was no drums. Eventually we got drum backing tracks and we played a couple shows where we had drummers and those were great. But then me and Adrian were like the songwriters and the rule was, Because when we started the band, none of us wanted to sing because we all thought we were very bad singers. And so the rule was if you write a song, you have to sing it. So me and Adrian both wrote songs, and when we would perform, we would like stagger the set. I sing some songs, then he sings some songs, then I got some, and then it just made for a mess. And Adrian felt really uncomfortable singing on stage anyway, and I kind of grew into it a little bit and felt more confident. And I was like, I can just sing everything. And he was like, yeah, that sounds good. So we did that.
Besides And It's Been Downhill Ever Since, Your Local Cemetery released a 3-song EP called Diners, Diners, and Diners.
Yes. It's very rare that I hear someone else say the title out loud. It's really good.
In 2018, there was a single called Bury Me in Nutritional Yeast.
Mm-hmm. That was one. Okay.
2020 was Shark Song.
Yes.
It seems there was a few years where you did it in a row. Mm-hmm. Now that it's 2023, can we expect something late 2023 or maybe early 2024?
Possibly. I have been talking more with Adrian in the last few weeks just because we've both been out of music for so long and wanting to kind of get back into it. And then so we've been like sharing song ideas back and forth. I wouldn't expect much. Just like distance in the pandemic has created this place where we're not really making much. Eric moved up to Chico to go to college, and then when like COVID hit, I think Adrian and I just both got super depressed. Yeah, music is not on the forefront of our mind at all. So yeah, there could be some stuff. I'm excited about writing music for the first time in a while, but also I don't want to set expectations and pressure on myself to make it happen. I just kind of want to make it happen if it happens to happen. You know what I mean?
I do. That being said, you were also part of another band called Freudian Couch. Mm-hmm. What was it like juggling 2 bands at the same time?
Honestly, very easy. Because when I was doing that, I was working at a pizza shop, and the hours were not great, and neither was my sleep schedule. And I was also in college, but because my sleep schedule was already a mess, I was like, yeah, we can fucking do this. Let's go. So Your Local Cemetery, we were pretty consistent at that time as we knew what our set was, and practice was pretty easy when we could make it happen. And then working with Gigi was a breeze, and that was probably the reason it was so easy, is because she would be like, yo, I got a song, and I'm like, awesome, let's knock it out. And then I'd make a music part for it, or vice versa. I'd be like, I have this chord structure, and then Gigi's like, cool, let me just slap some lyrics on it. Like, no problem. So I think the reason it was easy was because Gigi was insanely talented, and it made it fun. Yeah, I feel like we could just start with nothing at the beginning of practice and come up with 2 songs. Also, it was easy trying to be in 2 bands because for YLC, I was trying to do like everything. I'm going to write a lot of the songs. I'm going to book all the shows. I'm going to do all the merchandise and X, Y, and Z. And then with Freudian Couch, I was much more hands off and let Gigi took the reins on a lot of things. And yeah, that made it very easy.
Now, I've already asked Gigi this question, but do you recall your first performance at Cheyenne?
Yeah, I do.
What was that experience like for you?
It was different for me. There's weird circumstances, though, because that was one of the first times that I was planning to meet my now fiance. And so I was a nervous wreck the whole day waiting to hear if they could come or not. And they were studying clinical nutrition at UC Davis. So they were very intensely in college. And they were like, I'm going to do everything I can to be there. But I'm also working on this group project, and I can't guarantee that I can make it. Totally understandable. And then they could not make it. And then I was like a little bit sad from that, but also very excited to play with Gigi. So there was like a lot of emotions happening that day. And I remember it being, I think I probably sweated a lot. I think I sweat a lot, didn't I? Yeah, especially for the first performance for the music project. Very nervous. But a lot of different emotions pulling at me that day. But it was fun. And then I remember every other show after that being like way more easy. I think that answers the question.
Also, sometime February 2019, you started your own music label, Tulip Records.
Oh, yeah.
That's where you recorded and produced with Your Local Cemetery, but also produced Planet Pedestrian's EP, Paper Flowers.
Yeah.
Are you still looking to continue the record label? And if so, producing Freudian Couch's EP?
Mm-hmm.
Maybe some singles like The Fight or Milk and Honey.
Mm-hmm. Feels like you really want these songs to be launched. They're very good songs. I think Gigi did an awesome job with songwriting, and then producing those songs was very fun. There's a couple of them that are recorded, and I just never pulled the trigger on launching it. And that's my bad. I'll admit that. At the moment, as far as like, do I want the label, so to speak, to become anything? Not really. It's not like a major focus in my life right now, but it's something nice to have on the back burner of like, oh, if I want to start doing music again, I know I have this outlet that I'm going to like launch it through, but I would be totally down to, if not record more Freudian Couch stuff, then definitely launch what we have like in store, because I think the songs are genuinely good. Also because I've been itching to get back into music more recently. I think it'd be a fun project to kind of like get my feet wet again, get into recording and mixing and doing all that stuff. But yeah, no solid plans at the moment.
I know currently you're on a hiatus from those two bands.
Yeah.
But you're part of the band Subtext with Raina Rose.
Mm-hmm.
I know Raina Rose does her own mixing and producing with Crystal. When you're all in the studio together, what's it like feedback-wise giving it to each other?
Like, what's the dynamic like? Just recording and stuff? It's fun. It's different. Part of the reason I was very excited to get back into music and start doing it with this project, Subtext specifically, is because I hadn't played or like performed music specifically since I started my transition. And then when I realized that, it made me kind of sad to be like, oh, this person that I was like trying to be when I was in these couple bands was like not the genuine version of me. And I thought about like who I am now. And the fact that I never got to play as me, like on stage and stuff. So I kind of wanted to get back into music because of that. And the band Subtext, like everyone in the band is queer. So there's like a whole element that wasn't really there before. Like with YLC, I was like playing with my best friends from growing up. And that was incredible. But it adds a whole nother dimension. And it just feels like fun and comfortable doing this new project. That said, we haven't really done too much so far. We've had a couple of practices and like a recording session. But yeah, it's just been a really fun dynamic. And I think Rainer and Crystal and Sam are all awesome people. And I appreciate getting to spend time with them. And glad that they let me into the band.
Well, thank you for being our guest here at the What's in Your Case podcast. Do you have anything you'd like to promote at this time, or tell the listeners where they can find your content?
I don't got much going on right now, honestly. So I think Subtext has an Instagram. I think it's @Subtext, but I can't guarantee that. Your Local Cemetery music is on Spotify if you want to listen to it. I feel like Don Rico's going to pressure me to release some Freudian Couch music, so look out for that. And then other than that, follow my love owl hair designs on everything. That's all I got, dude.